Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another Transformers review. This time we're looking at the legacy Armada universe, Starscream. Yes, this is the modern day interpretation of the good old Armada Starscream, and boy oh boy is this a good figure. It's not perfect by any means, but it is a very splendid update, a much needed update. So taking a look at good old Screamer here, he has got a very iconic silhouette, this particular version of Starscream. You look at this and you instantly know which iteration of the character it is. It's a beautiful look for him, and it is possibly the most iconic Starscream out of there other than the G1 version, just because if you saw Armada, you know the amazing story that he goes on, the beautiful character arc he has is just great, and it's great to have a version of this guy in the collection. So wacky jet mode, honestly, it is. It's very disproportionate for a jet, and it's not very aerodynamic, especially with these things hanging from the underside here. But beautiful red, beautiful whitish sort of thing, Decepticon logos in a bright purple on the wings. You kind of got this blue cockpit going on here, which is cool. Yellow highlights there, black along the back. Looking at the underside very quickly, it's kind of obvious what is what, and you can see his head poking through there. Hello! But again, it's good. Good, faithful jet mode. Very, very nice. Now, I'm going to actually discuss his accessories right here, right now. He comes with two. He comes with this sword. Now, if you know the cartoon and you know the original version of the figure, this sword is meant to be this wing here, and it's meant to be able to fold up and plug in, but the new version of this guy forgoes that and just has it as an external attachment. So that's one little negative. If they'd found a way to incorporate this into that, it would have been amazing. But hey ho. The other thing it comes with is the Star Saber. Unfortunately, it's not mini-cons, so you can't disconnect it into the three ones that make it up. Again, it is whatever. I suppose in terms of size, it's kind of faithful to the dimensions of the character, but hey, blue blade, light grey handle, detailing, not bad. Yeah, detailing for this, it's very plain. Imagine if they'd coloured this red, because his sword actually lit up red like a lightsaber in the cartoon or the anime or whatever it is. Yeah, but it's cool to have these at least. It is cool. And the reason why I'm showing them in vehicle mode is because there's so many attachment points for these things. It is ridiculous. You can kind of see, let's have a look, where should we start? You've got the main ports there, so that's an option you can do. You can go the underside of the wings, like that. You can go the underside of the legs, if you so desire. You can't use those ones. You could stick one of them on the underside of the nose cone, if you're so pleased. And then even more bizarrely, you can, despite these not being rounded ends to them, you could plug them into the back of the thrusters like that. And that's probably the most bizarre thing that you could possibly do with them. But that's why I'm showing you them now. So let's get rid of them. Get out of here. Get out of here. Because I've got a comparison to do. Spontaneous comparison in vehicle mode. We don't normally do these. Well, not nowadays anyway. But we need to for this guy, because I need to bring in the OG. Yes, I have the Thundercracker version of the original figure, and you could see the difference in size. This guy, despite him being a Voyager class, he's kind of really a deluxe class size. Again, the downscaling modern day, it's I despair, but it is what it is. And yeah, I mean, it's so faithful though to this one. And one thing about this that I like better than this is the situation of the nose cone. You can see on this original one, and I will cover these more in depth in an actual old versus new down the line, I think I'm going to do. But this, you can see, is at an angle pointing downward, and you can't actually get this sitting straight. This one, no such problem. But yeah, one little thing I will comment about the shades of red on him though. The nose cone area and the cockpit is actually a slightly different shade of red to the rest of him. It's a bit brighter. This is darker, that's brighter. To the naked eye, it's not very horrendous, but I've noticed it. So yeah, a little bit of inconsistency there. Bit of a shame. Looking at the transformation of Starscream then, once again, it is very faithful to the original interpretation. So, what we should do for a start is come to the arms, I think. And we're just going to unclip them and roll them down, as you will do on the very first version. We'll just leave them there for now, but we will come back to them because we're not done. Now, we're going to come to the back. And we're just going to bring that down slightly. It's meant to tab in, but it doesn't very well. So that's another little nitpick. The main difference between this one and the earlier version is these little bits here. I think they're meant to be like thrusters, but they're not painted very well. They're kind of just red blocks. But this is a departure. So you want to separate them. And now we're back into familiar territory. I'm going to just roll the legs out like that. The toes do fit snugly into new gaps there. It doesn't improve it in any way, shape or form. It doesn't even help streamline it, really. It's just another departure. So we brought them down. We're going to rotate. Whoa, and that's not happened to me before. Mushroom-pegged legs that have just rolled out, but easily fixable, as you can see. We're going to rotate them so the fins are facing what will be the front. And then we're going to fill in the gaps here, just rolling them in and plugging them in. And bring out the feet and trying to get the heels out, get a nail into that tab and just fold the heels out like that. That's his legs basically done. Bringing the lower torso down is helping actually to push the head out, so that's kind of like a head reveal gimmick thing there. That's good. We're going to come down to the front. We're going to snap the nose cone down and all of that. Now, other reviewers have commented on this. These little bits here, you can fold them in, and then looking at this, you can see these big black slots here. Now, you'd thought that they're meant to slide in there and then you can tab everything into place, but sliding them in there prevents you from tabbing anything into place. So don't bother. You just have it all down, tab that in, and then bend them around the exterior of his torso. They sit at slight angles, but it is what it is. It just seems a bit of a strange design choice to include those grooves on the torso detailing itself, but actually not be able to utilise them in any way. Take the fists, and you can open those bits there and roll them out, just like this. There we go. Same thing on this arm. It's a nice handy tab on there also to help you with rolling them out. And then take the wings, bend them like that. And then it's kind of up to you how you want to leave this guy. If you want to leave him looking like his Armada self, then you're done at this stage, other than sliding the arms in like that. But that's him looking like Armada Starscream with all of that hanging off the back. But your alternative option, if you want a more streamlined and cleaned up figure, keep that up and then bend all of that down like that. And then you've kind of got, I want to say, more of an IDW kind of look. But then again, he didn't exactly look like this in the comics. But there was an earlier attempt to kind of modify Armada Starscream's look in the, I want to say, Universe line. And it was a deluxe class figure. And it was okay for the time, but this is, again, an upgrade, and it's a far superior upgrade. But that's kind of how he is on the promotional images, with the null laser cannons slapped down against his back. Now, to its credit, that does give him, I suppose, a better profile than the original version, which did have it all hanging off the back like that. But for the sake of nostalgia, I actually like to leave it like this. Now, there's no minicom port or anything there, so having that back platform stuck out like that is a bit peculiar. So just bring that down, and then you can actually tab that into place and just have the cannons themselves out like that. And then you're filling out his back more by having that down. But there you go. That is Starscream in a beautiful looking robot mode. It is. It's a very good interpretation of that Armada version of him. Stunning paintwork all around. zooming in to look at the head as best we can. That's a beautiful head sculpt. Nice orange eyes, reminiscent of him in the anime. Nice smirk. Well, it's not even a smirk, it's just a neutral face, so that's a little bit disappointing, but it's still really nicely sculpted. And then coming down, there's not a lot of further detail that we didn't see in the jet revealed here. It's all the same, you know, still that blue cockpit, the black legs still there. So there's nothing new revealed, but hey ho, it's just got such a nice profile about him. Now, I mentioned that this wasn't a perfect figure, and there are just some other little nitpicks. I've already mentioned the peculiarness of these fins not slotting into the tabs that they are apparently meant to slot into. My figure is also suffering from loose joints. As you can see on his right arm, it's very wobbly. The pin is quite loose, but there is actually a fix for this. If you sort of de-transform the arms and slide them back into their jet configuration like that, and onto the other side like that, there we go, that actually fixes the issue. Crazily. Don't ask me how that works. I don't understand the formatics of pin joints, but hey, now it's not wobbly anymore. So that's a thing, but he is sort of mistransformed like this. But his articulation isn't hindered in any way, so you display him how you wish. The nice thing about this guy is he's quite modular in that sense. Many options about him. Other than that, there aren't really any other complaints. In terms of other gimmickry, now, the Armada version, you would have plugged a minicon into that, and these cannons will have flipped forward. Now you can just manually do them, so that's better. And then if you've got any blast effects, you can plug them in there and have a null laser cannon firing at any pesky Autobots that you so wish. But I do love the fact that they are able to include this back into the version of the figure that we see before us, so that's excellent. If we cover articulation then, looking at his head, he can turn it about that far and then about that far. So it's a little bit limited, unfortunately. He can, however, look up decently and down only about that. Average kind of head articulation then. Arms, he will be able to achieve a full 360 there, if not for the wings. There is a swivel all the way around of the upper arm. In terms of the elbow, an over 90-degree double bend going on there. The wrists, there's nothing really, but there's a slight bit of up and down just due to transformation. At the waist, he does have a waist swivel. Further at the arms, he also has these, well, for lack of a better term, butterfly joints. They're not traditionally butterfly joints, but again, this is something that the original figure did not have. At the legs, we've got a beautiful spread. And then, in terms of a forward kick, good. Back, good. Knee, good. And then toes, you actually do have some articulation here. There is a pin in there, so you've got some side to side, and you've got a little bit of up and down wriggle as well. Overall, articulation is very good for this mould. It's far superior to the original, which we will bring in for comparison. So here they are together. Yeah, it's bizarre seeing such an ancient figure, by all means, on the right, compared to his successor, to all things considered. And yeah, the legacy version is better. It is. It just straight up is. There is a certain amount of nostalgia about the original version on the right here, especially with the sword blade in the wing and the cannons on top. For the time, it was really cool, and I remember seeing the original version of Starscream in a comic ad back in the day. The Transformers Armada UK comic had a competition where you could get the original version of Starscream, the red version, and I so wanted it because it looked like the coolest thing ever. And I think the paint on the Starscream version is the best version of this original guy to exist. But as the years went on, I wasn't able to get Starscream, but I managed to get Thundercracker here, who is paralleling Starscream, I suppose, because he did actually become these colours toward the end of the series for all of about 6 episodes before he got killed off, spoilers. But yeah, this guy, he is a bit of an archaic thing, he's a relic. Articulation is nowhere near as good as this guy here. So of these two, I actually do think this one, the new guy, is better. For further size comparisons, here he is next to Demolisher from Armada, so this is the original Demolisher up against Starscream, and if you saw Thundercracker a moment ago, you can kind of get an idea of what the scale of the original one would be up against this. So I think this is a little bit more proportionate in terms of the anime, and surely you were expecting this. This is Primal C up against Starscream, and then to cap it off, Mysterio against Starscream. So there we have it, Legacy Armada Universe Starscream. I think this is a splendid update of the original figure. Honestly, I know other reviewers on the platform have been a little bit more negative toward this. The overall reaction has been positive, but other people have been more keen to point out the flaws in this mould. I, on the other hand, acknowledge the nitpicks about it. Even my copy isn't perfect. There are some loose joints on him. There are some missed opportunities with the mould in general. However, this is a very much needed and well-deserved update of one of the most favourite Starscreams the fandom knows, and the figure is just great. He's a little bit small for Voyager class, but then again, that seems to be the norm nowadays with Transformers. They're just getting smaller. What can you do about it, really? But he is such a good figure, really, all things considered. There's a bit of a lack of minicom ports, so it would have been nice to see a few more of them on him, to have that compatibility with the original Armada aesthetic. I think the Hotshot, the new Hotshot that's out, does have a minicom port or two on him, so it's a little bit of a pity. But doesn't detract from him altogether. It is a very nice figure, and I do recommend him, and I give him a thumbs up. Definitely seek him out if you are a Starscream stan, and if you have a certain appreciation for Armada, he is definitely worth your time. So that, ladies and gents, is the new Armada Starscream. Get him if you can. Thank you everybody's one and all for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.